Vercel just dropped something I've been waiting for years, and they didn't even mention it at NextConf. It's something I can guarantee y'all have seen dozens of times, possibly even hundreds of times, on this very channel. This is something I was lucky enough to get to use for a bit, and I'm finally able to share it with you all. What we're here to talk about today is Geist. Geist is a font. And it's a font you have seen on every single one of my thumbnails for over 5 months. Yes, Geist is the font I have been using for all of my content now for almost half a year. And it is a great font that I'm so excited to share with y'all today. So what makes this font special? What even is it? Well, let's take a look. Geist might look somewhat familiar, and that's because it's very, very inspired by Inter. It had a couple specific design goals going in. One was that they could use the same font for titles and big, bold things on the tops of websites, as well as for the core text that's a smaller font width and a more reasonable font size. Inter's historically been great for anything title-like and anything bold or strong. Once you get into smaller font base sizes with normal font weights or need something like mono, Inter stops being the best font choice pretty quick. And Geist worked hard to solve that for Vercel, and now they've opened it up for anyone to use under the open font license. It's a really cool project that was a partnership between Vercel and Basement Studio, and the result, it speaks for itself. It looks beautiful. They have 9 font weights, all of which behave very well and look great together as well as independently, and a mono font that has the same 9 weights, which is really, really handy if you're trying to make things stand out in your code examples. It's really minimal. It has some controversial choices. Like if we look at the lowercase y, if I can find it, you'll see in the y, this one has an accent. Look at that, this y, you'll see there, it's actually a little bit of a guy there sticking out. It's very different, a little bit edgy, but it looks really good at almost all font sizes. I've been really impressed with how this font looks, and all of my thumbnails, I found it look great. Here you'll see what I was saying with the font weights, where the weights aren't just the traditional expand and contrast. They actually change the curves and the locations of a lot of the specific characteristics of the font as the weights change within it. It looks great. It really does. Yeah, you can even type in here. Cool. Hello, subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to hit the button. Subscriptions are free. Helps us out a ton. Anyways, this is how you know the font's made by and for developers. You can install the font by installing it via npm. And then you can import it in Next.js just by importing Geist and Geist Mono from Geist/font. And they say include this in the app layout or page layout if you want this font to work in your project, and now it just works. But if you're more boring like me and you're using something like a photo editor, like I often do for my thumbnails, you can also just download the zip. And now you can get the font or the mono and the normal font with a single zip download that has an OTF, a WAF, and TTF, whatever all the standard font formats are. Like, yeah, it's that easy. They did it. The font's now live. Huge shout out to Evil Rabbit for leaking this to me as early as he did, and to the whole Vercel team, and as well as Basement Studio for the hard work on this font. We have needed a good alternative to Inter for a while, and it's really awesome seeing you guys get the Inter creator's blessing as well. Thank you for shipping this font. Thank you for making it open source and an open font and giving the whole community access to something this cool. Appreciate y'all a ton. If you want to hear more about CSS type stuff, I'll pin a video in the corner all about that. And if you've already seen it or aren't interested, there's a video below YouTube seems to think you're going to like. Thank you again. Peace, nerds.